But as I said, welcome to our little productivity session. My dream today would be that you leave here thinking or reframing productivity away from it being a thing that you get more done and more towards actually that you are not in a race, that you're actually getting the right things done, and that you're so unbelievably good at figuring out what that right thing is that it actually means that you look at a to-do list and get laser focused on not just what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done, what can be deleted, what can be deferred, what can be delegated, and sometimes what just needs to be ignored for today. Because I truly think that's where we move from being doers to being beers and being in that really lovely space where we're holding that lovely narrative. So I've got a couple of little topics that we're going to play with today, but before we start, I did want to do a little bit of welcome and intention setting and get you guys to show me your brain today. So just using stickers or words, whatever kind of works for you. I quite like this idea of like, I might feel like fried toast, slightly scrambled, al dente, ready to serve. And then second, just a little prompt. What would a win feel like by the end of this session? So I'm just going to create a little space for myself here. Sarah's brain today. Have you gone, Ellen? Have you managed to find us on the Fig Jam board yet?
Yeah, I'm in the fig. I'm even signed in.
Woohoo.
Just going to put your little faces over here. Can I do that? There we go. All right, good. Now remind me how I changed the cursor. Oh, yeah, I found it.
Woohoo.
This is the one tool I'm getting great at Notion, so it's good to practice in FigJam.
Yeah, good. I think I've said to you guys before, this is one of those future tools. The reason it's so powerful is one, it's a great collaboration tool, but two, once we get good at figuring out how to use this, it is one that will be able to move straight from this into development. So Fig Jam connects with Figma, Figma connects with development. So you can wireframe things up and build apps, you can build web pages, all sorts of cool things. You can join us if you like, Steve. We've got Steve and Ellen and Jen on the Fig Jam board. Jen, do you want me to get rid of this template?
Yes, please. I don't even know what I'm doing here. This is the part that
Oh, that's good.
I find very time consuming.
Yeah, that's all right.
I just wanted some basic bits and pieces.
Yeah, that's all right. I like how Steve's got a sleigh and at least ducks are in a row.
Okay, that didn't do what I thought it was going to.
Let's do some stickers.
No, I think I just reacted to something.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gone. Yeah, I want stickers.
Yeah. So go to the plus button and then you'll see all and then stickers. And in stickers, you can just type something in and it'll bring some stuff up. Look how Steve Huey's brain is like an Excel spreadsheet. I just love that for him. So good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Welcome,
Steve.
Steve Pirie-Nally. There is the Figma board in the chat, but you do need to join with two truths and a lie this morning, this afternoon, where we're at. So tell us two truths and a lie, and we will have to pick the lie. Go for it, Steve.
Two truths. I need a haircut. That's a truth.
Oh, you're not meant to tell us. We're meant to guess.
Oh, really? Oh, sorry.
You need to just say three statements, and we need to pick the lie.
Three statements. Sorry.
Yeah.
I need another coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, I do.
I feel like I could do your three truths. There are two truths and a lie.
Come on, give it a crack.
Steve played hockey internationally for Belgium. Steve's absolute favorite dessert is tiramisu, and Steve has been to Antarctica twice.
I think you played hockey internationally for a different country.
Mm.
Oh, Steve Huey, you're on mute.
Our playing for Belgium is unusual.
Mm.
Do you think that's the lie?
I'm feeling like he likes the dessert. And how many times to Antarctica?
Twice.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say you. Or have you been 3 times?
Only
That before.
Only once.
He's only been once. That was the lie. He did
That
play
is
for
the lie.
Belgium, and
I
he
didn't
loved.
I didn't play for Belgium. I played for New Zealand. So
Oh,
two lies.
I thought you played for Belgium.
Nah, New Zealand.
Oh, there you go. I
Belgium.
lied too. I did a Eugen, two lies and a truth. Anyway, we found out something new about you. So, Steve, we are just checking in on our brain today. Where's our brain at? A little picture. And then one intention. What would a win feel like by the end of this session? So we're just going to give ourselves a little.
I'm giving everyone a win after the call I just got off.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Especially Ellen and Steve.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's good. I feel like we're so randomly stressed today.
I'm definitely not. I'm happy as.
That's nice.
Why are you stressed, Ellen?
I've just worked out what it is. It's fine.
You have? What is it?
Oh, what happened?
Well, we met with Oscar's play therapist today, which was great. But just with just kid stuff, Matt and I have quite different views, so which is fine, we get there.
Yeah.
Currently, Matt is like researching the best support for non-binary kids by reading case laws about it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, oh, babe, that's not where we look for best practice advice. Like, yeah. But anyway, that's his process.
Oh, well, spreadsheet becomes Sarah's brain today. I had to zoom out. I was like, oh, there's everyone else's brains.
There she is.
Alan's brain getting.
I like, look, Steve Hugh's got all his ducks in a row. He's plowing through his work.
I love it, and he's slaying.
I know, I love the sleigh. Look at Ellen. She's got getting clearer. It's all lining up. She's smashing through some stuff. Jen, yes. That is looking so good. Nice radius. That's so cute. Steve Pirie. Oh, there we go. He's now getting into his thing. So, Steve, if you want stickers, you press the plus button, and then you'll see just after all that there's some good stickers there.
Oh, last one, yeah, good more ones. Yep.
Oh,
And
yeah.
where do you want our win for the day?
Just a post-it note. I feel like I wanted to give. Oh, I literally was just getting you the plane, Steve.
But you do
Nelly
it.
and Steve Huey. I was like, oh, and then Steve Huey got the same one at the same time. I was
Oh
like,
no, this is a bit. I've got the same stickers as Steve. I've got a paper dart. We've got
I added a plane to your brain, Steve. I know that's like totally
And plan. I'm actually enjoying this. This is great dopamine.
Mhm.
Thanks, Sarah. Well done.
I'll make you bigger. Yes.
Mhm. And you just type in, right, okay.
I just had a really lovely call with Sienna School, actually, Steve.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
How do I find people stickers?
There's not really many of them. I was trying to find like kids and family, and that wasn't a vibe.
Yeah, no family stickers, no people. It's just all about money and paper
Yeah,
dust.
yeah. Figment like tech bro for life.
Yeah, so is Tech Bros for Life. We met a whole heap of the Figma peeps in.
I sold another program today, guys. I've sold 2.
Look at
Woohoo.
you.
Steve, how many members have you signed on this month? Obviously, you had a 2 in one day last week, I think it was. So
I think I signed 2, definitely 2 last week. I think 2 the week before, so 4. Where are we
So
at now? I think we got 40.
oh, 40, yes, come on, 50 this month. Let's go.
Oh yeah, this is the month.
Yep.
I've got 3. I've got 3 spots left at my old price, and then I'll put it up.
I saw that email come through. That was a very good email.
Thank you.
Yeah, we love that.
And it didn't go to spam, whereas in the past it's gone to spam. Just the
Oh, cool. Okay, great. Yeah, actually, if you can reply to them, I think that helps.
right.
You just so my friend Nick, whenever his EDMs go out, I just write back, very engaged.
Hmm.
I've got to get on your email list, Steve, Huey, so I can write back to you. So engaged.
It feels good to receive an email.
Totally.
It's been sent out. You have no idea.
Oh, it's the
Like
pig.
getting it?
Yeah.
Fixed.
Look at these. Okay, everyone
So
ready to
Steve,
talk?
Huey, and
Yeah.
oh yeah, right.
Everyone's brains are looking really beautiful. Okay, are we ready to talk to our brains? And have you got your one thing you'd like to take out of today?
Oh no.
Yay, it's a little party.
Like wins
That's
best.
so cool.
And when we had the debrief with the play therapist, I then put all the notes in Oscar's
Wow,
Notion
cool.
file,
Oh, good.
and then the actions in my list.
Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. How good is that though? Because like typically it's like, where do you put that stuff? You know, and it kind of like sits in a folder
Totally. And it's all
somewhere or-
well,
Yeah.
that's the kind of it's the thing that then makes you feel like, oh, it's so overwhelming. Like I'm so overwhelmed because I'm like, I need to look at schools next year. And I think about that every week,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't need to do it right now.
Nope, because it's on the board and you're like, I'm doing something about it just by having it there. Like I've acknowledged it. Acknowledgement is a really powerful thing. Okay, tell me about
Yeah,
your
and I could
brain today, Ellen.
oh, can I copy stuff in here?
Mhm.
Where have I put it?
G needs a bigger box. Come on, G, make the box bigger.
Oh, I'm copying in
Oh no,
there.
please stop doing that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's like that's like the visual that's like the visual option of like the really screechy microphone.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about your brain.
All right. So my brain is like a bit mixed. Like something's getting clearer. Look, I've just screenshotted my family from their Notion board.
Amazing.
Yes.
That's mostly my day. Lots of different directions, lots of to-do lists with my little post-its, and like still waiting for my bloody business divorce to progress.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's my brain today.
Steve Pirie-Nally. Oh, and what's the one thing you'd like to get out of today?
Oh yeah, just more and more systems. Like
Great.
I'm fully bought into the systems benefits.
Because
And
they're
I'm
making you feel
in control.
great. So good. Yeah, Steve Pirie-Nally, tell me about your brain today.
My brain today is all about let's go. There's lots of work in progress, but the blueprint is mapped out. Um, and the dollar signs are sitting in different buckets, which is exciting. Um, but what I'm looking forward to out of this call is letting the paper dart go out of my hand because the plan's there. I just need to shoot it.
Beautiful. And what would you like to walk out of this call with? What would be a win today?
A win for today is I'm already winning today, so I'm good.
Cool. Steve Huey, tell me about your brain.
Brain is, I can sort of feel like we're on the edge of doing something awesome.
Yeah.
So all the ducks seem to be in a row to go. And the bulldozer's like we're gonna move some action, get start making that road. It feels like there's a lot to do, but it's all happening in the right direction. Also a little bit like what Steve said, like you just gotta shoot some of those stuff out there and let it let it work. That's why I got the let's go thing here. So it still all feels like it's all coming together.
I love it.
Yeah,
The
do you
one
want
thing,
to share a bit about the launch club? Sorry, the launch, Steve, which is just around the corner, like a core, no small partner that's really got some good momentum. So
You're
yeah,
hijacking my session, Stephen, but sure.
no worries.
Core Plus pretty exciting with them. I really come across them on a partnership level probably about 3 weeks ago when they reached out. I sort of knew Valenza before, but we never talked about anything. And then she invited me to the Colours and Patty event in Sydney and put us up and sat me next to this interim CEO and we chatted. So I thought, well, why not take the opportunity to suggest something? So yeah, so what we're going to plan to do with them is to do some launch events, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, about the Flights Club and invite some of their curated guests along and also our ones. And then we talk about iFly Flat and also our Core Plus. So this launch event is sort of coming together with partners, not just us, that Steve is helping with.
How good.
Awesome work.
And what would be a win out of today's session, Steve?
Yeah, I think just in my mind, just what some of the next things to do because
Mhm.
there's sort of like lots coming in.
Mhm.
Everything needs to be done. But also, it feels like a lot of things are still work in progress.
Mhm.
But maybe some should just get done and move on.
Mhm. Love it. And Jen, tell me about your brain today.
Obviously, there's work in progress at the top. Child progress with getting 2 minute last minute. After 7 years of trying to get the psych assessments for the boys for the neurodivergent side. I had 2 hour session this morning with psych, so that was like booked last night. Somehow magically worked my magic. And then so she's going to come and see them at school. So
Cool.
this dude here is more just around, stars are aligning going on. Everything's in sync. Mindset wonder. Nice radius, just, keeping things on the peripheral, bringing them in, pushing them out. So that's more around the visioning side. When something's not working or there's some resistance and pushing it out, and then I'll pull it back in again to revisit and then back out again. Recording ready. So I've got my last pieces ready to record. Light bulb moments from time to time. Time is ticking. My day is sliding past very quickly, but it's feeling comfortable and I'm not pushing. I'm going with the flow a bit more. Dream team, everyone seems to be communicating really well this week. It's been completely flipped on its head. Different mindsets this week. Not sure why. Everyone's got different mindsets.
Yeah.
And circling back to revisit these viewpoints and represent ideas in different ways when they're not taken on board the first time. So rather than having it shut down, actually going back to revisit in a different mindset, delegating a lot more and asking more of others. So things are getting done without me doing it, though, like extra contracts and bits and pieces.
Nice.
And then doing lots on the legal and risk mitigation side. So that's running smoothly. So I'm kind of ticking that through a lot quicker than what I thought it would take to do. So yeah, feeling on track with marketing too.
Nice. And one thing that would feel like a win today.
One thing, can it relate to Figma? No. You can see how I find it challenging. Sorry, what was it? One thing to get a win.
Yeah, if it feels like a win today.
To finish up before 5 o'clock. So go and finish my emails, couple of emails that I need to get away today, and then
Cool.
complete, wind out the day, get dinner on.
Cool. Love it.
Yay.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I just wanted to actually give you guys a really, really quick skill pill on something that genuinely changed my entire brain. And with any help, it will help for you guys too. And that's the concept of nested frameworks. So nested frameworks are models that help us understand how systems exist within systems. A little bit like Russian dolls or ecosystems or even atoms. They help us understand that nothing exists in isolation. And when we learn to think in nested layers, we stop asking like, oh, what's wrong with this? Or what's not working here? And we start looking at what is this a response to within a larger system? So it helps us understand context. It also provides us with a compass for locating problems, possibilities, and leverage points. And it stops us from oversimplifying or blaming individual people or self for structural breakdowns. You guys have heard me talk to my very favorite nested lens in the past. I've talked about the global, macro, micro, nano. And it's one of those that I play back to you guys on a regular basis just to kind of normalize the idea of nested frameworks and systems thinking. So whether I'm mapping burnout, influence, family dynamics, organizational change, customer experience, the whole point of this framework is about learning how to zoom in and out with compassion. And I wanted to give you a little bit of the history of it. It's not a new tool. It's actually part of something much older that's been around for many, many, many decades. In fact, centuries. Long before funnels, blueprints, AIs, before we were talking about productivity or wanting to be faster, this idea was life unfolds in layers and systems sit within systems. So we know that personal gets nested in political, ancestral, planetary, and there are these really cool little frameworks like the Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory, which was a real landmark. Jen's nodding there. She probably understands that one from developmental psychology. It shows how children's development is shaped by nested systems. So we have the microsystem, family and school. We have a mesosystem, which is the interaction between microsystems. So that's how the family and schools come together. The exosystem, which are then indirect influences. So like workplaces, other sort of things that happen. The macro system, culture, economy, societal norms. And then the chronosystem, which is like change over time and how that kind of all comes together. And why that was a big breakthrough was that it helped us shift from individual behavior to systemic context. Another one came around in the 1970s to 2000s, and that was the social ecological model. And this was used to look at things like mental health, violence, obesity. And we couldn't just look at those and be like, oh, that's the problem. There's actually individual, interpersonal, organizational, community, and political kind of aspects there. And again, why that matters is that it helps us understand that we can't change outcomes without addressing the systems that people live inside. There's a 9 windows tool, which is a grid for problem solving that explores past, present, future, as well as the perspective of supersystem, system, and subsystem. And why that matters is it trains innovators to shift scale and time, which is one of the superpowers of systems thinking. There's many, many more. We've looked at ecosystems. There's the Thrive framework, which is a systems model in regenerative leadership. But the reason that I share this is that often when we actually sit and say, I want to be more productive, we're using a very simplistic lens. We're thinking, I want to do more, or I want to know what to do next. And we're not necessarily taking time to think about the context. So I really wanted to help actually establish a new compass for you guys today, a compass that thinks about the complexity of the system, the truth of yourself, your body, your mind, the mess of the middle, the possibility of the future, something that's not oversimplified, but that allows you to hold complexity without pretending to fix it, and to be able to really zoom laser focus right in on the right things that need to be done so that we can actually move from sparking ideas all the way through to creating movements. How does that sound for you guys? Nothing?
Good.
Cool.
Good.
Sorry, I was just like thought the vigorous nodding was gonna get us there.
Yeah, I like noise. I like noise.
Yes.
When a layer is off, productivity suffers. And I remember years and years and years of working through people's productivities and looking like, what's going on with this person? Like, why are they stuck? And often it's because there's something that's just out of misalignment. It could be right at the energy level, like a nano level, that there's just something off with that person's well-being. They might not be getting enough sleep, or they might have just had a baby, or there's something that's kind of disrupted them at that kind of spark level. So that's like asking myself, what do I need right now? And do I have enough energy to actually be in flow? Now, if that's off, that's where you got to start. So that's why we start there, because you can actually be looking at creating all these finely tuned, beautiful systems and to-do lists. But if your energy's off, none of that's really going to help. So starting there, I think, is really important. Next question that I like to ask is about the fabric. Actually, who impacts my productivity and who am I entangled with? So for Ellen, that's the family dashboard. These people impact your productivity, whether you like it or not, so much. And in fact, your entire Instagram stories over the last like 24 hours have shown that. It's like these people are in your fabric. They are entangled with you. And so we need to think about that when we're thinking about our productivity. For you, Steve, as you're thinking about your membership for i5 Flat, this becomes part of the fabric, because actually as you grow a thriving community, there are going to be people who have more questions. There are going to be people who want a little bit more of you. And so thinking about designing clear boundaries and thinking about where you might need new support are really important things to think about when you're thinking about productivity, because suddenly you can find yourself fielding DMs, oh, I've just noticed I'm responding to a few more LinkedIn comments or a few more DMs or a few more emails. And before you know it, that's actually really having a bigger impact on your ecosystem. So thinking about that fabric and who's kind of entangled in that. Next layer up is about the frame. And this frame question is one that I often play with people. It's what structures, tools, systems, calendars, roles are either supporting or potentially sabotaging me. Now, a lack of systems, tools, and structures is obviously not going to be ideal in this place, even if you've got a really firm, like you're well, you're healthy, you're on top of the people you're entangled with. If you don't have a really good, well-designed structure, that's not necessarily going to be very supportive. And then finally is the field. And that's that kind of big picture around what story is shaping how I view being productive. Now, I've played back to you guys a number of times. Steve Huey has a really healthy field when it comes to his productivity. He's really happy to go for a walk, and think about his work. He's really happy to go for a bougie lunch, or just like chill out when he's in business class. He's not like getting sucked into paradigms around being busy for busy's sakes. And I think the field is another really important thing for us to think about, because actually, as you think about this, we've got this nested productivity compass, right? If any one of those is out of whack, it's actually going to take us out of whack. So if we've got a story that we have to be busy all the time, or we don't have a good system that supports our productivity, or we're not aware of who's entangled within our world and who's maybe interrupting our flow, or we're not listening to our body when it says, I need rest, any one of those can take us out of whack. So can you see how they're nested together as a bit of a nested framework? So I might just get you guys really quickly. I'm going to copy and paste this little nested framework into our FigJam board. Just off to the left, give me a sec. And I just want you to have a little think for a second. Where do you think, oh, where has it gone? Oh, there it is. Across those layers, oh, that's not pasted very nicely. So give me a second. And I'll make sure that it pastes nicely. Where do you think you might want to focus? It's coming into this pink box here. Now, you're welcome to copy one of those yourself and maybe draw around it and say, this is your nested productivity compass. But we're just I'll put a few here so that you can own one of them. Give yourself a rating out of 10. How are you in each of those layers in terms of maturity? Are you all over every single layer and like this amazingly dialed in, ridiculously productive person? Or is there an area that maybe you could do with a little bit more finessing? So just write your name on one of these. I might choose this middle one here.
What are we putting?
Out of 10, how do you rate yourself across these layers? So across the field, the frame, the
Right.
fabric, and the spark. So
I'm just going to claim this top one.
yep.
Oh,
I'll give you an example. Oh, there we go. Steve Huey's got his little plane there. I love it.
Oh, I love Jen's putting stars. Nice.
Yeah, that's good, actually. I like that
That's
too. I'm just going to go the areas that I want to really focus on. Questionable areas. Someone gave me a star here.
I don't really know what to put.
So, I mean, I could give you a little, like, I think your story shaping how you view being productive, you're strong. What you're asking yourself is, how mature am I in this area, or do I need some work? So, for example, for me, my collective story around how I view being productive is something I work on all the time. So I gave myself a 6 out of 10. I have extremely good structure. I've got tools, calendar, roles. So I give myself a 9 out of 10 there. In the fabric, I'm really clear. I've spent a lot of time really understanding who I'm entangled with. So I gave myself an 8 out of 10. But when it comes to like listening to my body in terms of like, Sarah, today is probably a day that I should do less, I'm not very good at listening to that. So I gave myself a 4 out of 10. And what that does is it gives me a quick glance on that overall compass of what actually could be impacting my overall productivity or view of productivity.
I'm like, what is productivity? You know, when you're like,
I know the philosophical, and don't worry, I've gone and defined it. It is like the definition of productivity is like not just doing things, it's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's hard.
And it's like doing the right thing at the right time with the right amount of blah, blah, blah. Like,
Can you elaborate on the fabric again?
yeah, so the fabric is like, who are you entangled with? Like where, so for example, the kids, me, workmates, people that you work with.
Yep. Cool. Structures, tools, calendars, roles, field. Yeah, that's about right.
Do you know what's changed so much for me about the body one is my aura ring
Yeah, cool.
Oh, really?
Oh, tell us more.
because it gives you some good data and it also really helps me make sense of because it tells you like if you're at like it's at like if you have major signs of symptoms or minor signs of symptoms. And that really helps me to be like, oh shit, like I am actually run down. Like stop. It's like something external is like,
Yeah, Steve knows that was a big one for me with my watch because it will say
yeah.
like the body battery's at like 22 and I'd be like, oh, I should actually probably listen to that.
Steve just has too much data.
Yeah.
Which one? Are they lying though? Are they telling you the same thing?
No,
Both.
the work's definitely way more accurate. So time to upgrade to 5.0 and have to buy some more straps.
So I am interested in reframing the field together. So I'm interested in what stories about productivity you guys grew up with. And I might just get you to share a quick story really, really quickly. And then what would we like to believe instead?
Oh, we definitely had that light on moment when I did ChatGPT, right? If I wasn't doing enough and always working, then I wasn't providing and being productive. So it's the need to be busy um, versus being smart busy. So AI definitely helped me uncover that the
Yep.
last couple of weeks. Because your identity is not connected to how much output you put out weekly from
Yeah.
a time.
So what would you like to believe instead? That my identity.
Well, yeah, it's in regards to the quality of the energy put in versus coming out. So, for example, today it's not 8 hours sitting in front of a screen, but it's 3 hours of incredible conversations. That one is this, the one that just happened before that, that is actually far more energy output than sitting in front of a computer processing emails and that sort of thing. So, yeah, you can get to 3 o'clock in the afternoon and go, you know what? I've done enough today. That is going to have a compounding effect. That seeds are planted in the garden. It's just about watering them. So, yeah, this is trying to look at the garden, waiting for the shoots to grow and forcing them to grow because they won't. They literally need time to grow.
Yeah, love that. Steve, Huey, what did you grow up thinking
Yeah,
about
I,
productivity?
I guess my background of working with Macquarie Bank, and that's such a long time, and that's known to be hard working. So, working to 9 or 10 o'clock doesn't
Yeah,
sort
wow.
of bother me, and that's sort of like the top of thinking that I've taken to I fly flat. So for me, it doesn't feel like well, I can work anytime. Anytime I got time available, I'll just do some work. Uh, whereas Anna's very different. On the weekend, she just does no work, zero. Whereas I just continuously, oh, I've got
I
15
love
minutes, I've
that.
got to answer a query, just jump on, I'll just answer it.
That made me love
So,
Anna even more. She's already a girl boss.
Steve is one of the most responsive people on email that I ever know. I'm like, boom, jeepers. Right, response. Awesome.
so
What do you want to believe instead, or are you already happy with where it's at?
well, I think that's sort of why my rating's sort of like 6 out of 10 because I sort of feel like there's endless stuff to do. It's just endless. Like
Yeah,
go for a walk and then I might enjoy the beautiful day, but I'll be thinking, oh yeah, got to get that done. I could get that
yeah.
done.
Like
And
always
then these
on.
days I can chat to ChatGPT. I can
Yeah,
in a way that's better because I can get stuff done while I'm doing the walk at the same time. So
yeah.
it makes you feel better. But I just feel like it's the constant to-do list.
Yep.
And is that like, would you prefer it that you weren't always on?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a habit for the last 12 years. It's just basically
Yeah.
just been on this journey. Uh, only way I can escape is to either make it big or sell it, and then I'll be released.
What's been one of your best weeks that you're like, if this week could just repeat itself for another 30 weeks a year, what does that look like and feel like for you? Like a best week?
Yeah, I think a week that say it's two sales, and then you meet with like a partner, and you go, oh, there's some mad stuff we could do, and then you randomly bump into someone else, and they you can share some ideas. So I
Yep.
think definitely getting out, sort of meeting people is all very cool. But every time I'm out meeting people, I also feel like, yeah, I should send some emails to these other guys that's like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, I spoke to them last week, and they haven't signed up yet. I've got to hassle them. There's something in the background.
And I suppose that's in the field, right? The field is like there are different people have got different expectations in terms of like always on versus not. You know, there are working parents who are desperately trying to protect their boundaries. And then there are other people that are like, I want to work when I feel like working. And I think my dream for the field would be that the right things get done and that we huddle and swarm around the right things, you know, and that all the kind of noise of like busyness disappears. That would be my kind of dream state if I was to steer the conversation slightly.
Hmm.
Well, it
Jen,
comes
what's the story you had about productivity growing up?
I guess you have to work hard to earn money.
Yeah,
Work hard and eventually it might pay off.
yeah. And
Um,
what do you wish it was?
yeah. Well, I don't know that I have a choice. It's just the way my brain's wired, and I'm
Yeah,
accepted. I'm acceptance. I have an acceptance of that. Um, I would like to be able to park things, but I just don't operate that way. I'm like Steve. The brain will just keep running whether I like it or not. Even if I tell it to stop, it will still work
yeah,
and keep going. It's better with medication because I'm able to then make those choices and hopefully switch to something else. But it may
yeah,
be more so if I'm going for a walk, listening to a podcast. I couldn't just go for a walk and have no noise. That would just
yeah.
be weird to me.
And
So I am
and
trying to
CQE,
take
he's
moments
like
like,
hard
okay,
relating to that there.
maybe not like listening to a podcast or watching TikTok or messaging and emailing whilst I'm cooking. And that's what I'm trying to move away from. So I'm
Yeah,
like, if I can have some moments when I'm silent and not have my phone with noise in the background, whether it's, music or a podcast is fine. But yeah, something that needs to be relaxing if I am, but I'm trying to actually take moments away from my screen because I'm
yeah,
finding it's becoming something that's glued to me constantly. And
yeah.
then emails come with it. So yeah, work shouldn't be time bound. And just like Steve Payne, we possibly, I think I'm in the same mindset there, is that I'm trying hard to wind out by 5 o'clock because I need to actually start setting boundaries for myself.
I would like to share with you guys a little bit of my research from the middle-aged brain and maybe and hopefully convince you that doing less might be better because unfortunately we have been like programmed to sort of think that we need to be doing all the things, that if we're doing all the things then that makes us a good worker, and if that makes us a good worker then we're a good person and we're going to make more money, and it's sort of this like thing that's then driven us to become good at multitasking, and it makes us also feel like we're mastering if we're multitasking. But I just want to like be quite provocative here because multitasking is actually cognitive self-sabotage. And I would like my middle-aged brain friends here to be a little bit more neuroprotective than that, because as our brains age, we are actually reducing our efficiency by about 40%. The more we're trying to do actually means that we then have to work that little bit harder to decrease errors, make sure that we're not forgetting things. It then spikes cortisol, which then shrinks our gray matter and in turn actually impacts our emotional regulation. So we can feel like we've got it together, and you know what, you probably do, but as we get older this is actually going to get harder unless we interrupt it now. So we've got a really amazing opportunity to be neuroprotective and to be neuroproductive, and one of the ways that we can do that is actually unlock a little bit more brilliance by recalibrating our brain and reimagining how we kind of do things. So between the ages of 35 and 60 our brain goes through this big recalibration, it basically prunes what no longer serves you. So it's there going and pulling out. Have you guys seen Inside Out, where it's like getting rid of all those little baubles that like just aren't needed? It's like, let's clear out some memory space. It also prioritizes deeper meaning over shallow tasks. And we have an increased capacity emerging for pattern recognition. This is where, like I've said that before, Steve, but like Steve Huey has that wisdom because his brain has a beautiful capacity for pattern recognition, empathy, and wisdom. And the more space we give our brain, the more that actually sinks in. So the wiser we get. However, we have a decreased tolerance for noise, chaos, and overstimulation. So basically, our brain is asking for focus, depth, and fewer tabs open. It wants us to do less better. It really does. And doing less better isn't about then being lazy. It's about giving yourself creative problem-solving space and also nervous system regulation. And this really is about doing the right thing with presence. So being able to make those strategic choices about what is the meaningful task that I can do. If I set a 25-minute timer and turn off all notifications, how do I stay with this meaningful task? And then afterwards, do I feel good about that? Was that actually more satisfying because I gave it more attention? I wasn't switching between this and that and doing the context sort of switching. So my kind of invitation for you guys would be, how do we do less, go deeper, think clearer, and evolve smarter? Because that's obviously going to give us an opportunity, as I said, to be neuroprotective as we age, shifting away from being productive and busy, moving towards being neuroproductive and wise. And one of the tools that I wanted to show you guys is actually in FigJam, and it's just exquisite. It's something that we teach people, and it is, I'm trying to find the quickest way to find it, the mind map. So just over to the left of the pink section, if you go down to where the shapes are, there's like a square, a little arrow, and a circle. You'll actually see that there is, if you click on that, there's more tools there, and you'll see the more shapes, but next to the more shapes is what's called a mind map. Now, mind mapping is a phenomenal way to get really crystal clear on what you actually need to do. So you can just copy that there if you like. You guys, I can create some for you if you would like. So I'll give you one here. Now, the reason mind mapping is so powerful is that we might have 100 things on our to-do list, but actually when we take time to segment them and refine them and get really crystal clear on what they are, they actually collapse down into 2 or 3 big things. And that's what our middle-aged brains want to see. Our middle-aged brains don't want to see scattered lots of things that are disconnected. They like to see that pattern emerging. And so this is one tool to help you find those patterns. And what you want to do with a mind map is, just to begin with, you'll just write the topic. You know, I might write EvolveX community, and then I might write all the things that are connected to that right now. And they might be things on my to-do list, or they might be ideas that I've had. They might be projects that I'm working on. But what you're wanting to do is create the little cluster around it. So mind mapping is useful, as I said, especially in that whole idea of systems thinking, because it can help you flesh out what's actually connected here. Where could I potentially have things that are going unseen or not being connected? And actually the art of mind mapping is the thing that's going to give you the serotonin and the satisfaction. Because our middle-aged brains really, really like that feeling when we're drawing conclusions, when we're actually seeing connections, and when we're actually seeing something come together. And one of the things that can feel frustrating for us is when we're not visibly seeing that progress. So a mind map can be a really good way. If you've got 100 things on your to-do list and you've not quite been able to connect the dots on what they are, that can be a really nice place to start. The next activity is around the invisible load, which I know Ellen does a bit of work in, and it's a fabulous activity. You can do this in an Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't need to be a mind map. But this is where you not only map the tasks, you actually map the thinking and the ruminating and the other tasks around the task. So often when we're mapping processes, for example, Steve Huey, if I was asked you to map your day, you might say to me, oh, I do this work and then I do this work and then I go for a walk and then I come home and I have dinner. The double click on that would be actually when I'm walking, I'm chat GPTing, I'm messaging, I'm responding to Instagram comments, I'm thinking about the next article that I'm going to write, I'm thinking about the book. So you're really mapping out everything that's actually happening, not just the big chunky tasks. And again, that can be a really useful way to really kind of see what's sort of happening here. That helps us really break things apart. As I said, multitasking is super toxic. I do it. Everyone does it. Steve knows when I'm multitasking because I look like a zombie. I, look like I'm busy, but I'm actually trying to do too many things. And true productivity is that art of being genuinely present with the task at hand, that opportunity to be really, really radically present. And with that radical presence, not only are we going to do better work, we're able to assign more meaning to it. And as I mentioned earlier, our middle-aged brains are looking for that more meaningful work. We want to be doing work that matters and we want to feel good about our work. And so sometimes it's not that we don't feel productive, it's actually that we don't feel satisfied. And we're actually seeking satisfaction. And the more satisfaction that we want, the more we're going to spin up a whole heap of other random things and knit them together and stitch them together. And suddenly we're doing this multitasking and it's still unsatisfying because we haven't actually sat down and got really clear on what is meaningful work for me and how am I going to get really super present and meaningful with my work this week so that I can do my best work. And some of the questions that we can ask ourselves as we're doing that real invisible load and that mind mapping is, what are the actual parts of this that are the payoff? Like, what are the bits that genuinely give me that neurological light up, that feeling that is, oh, I'm doing good work here. I'm actually doing my best work. Now, I've witnessed Steve Huey on calls. I feel like you're very present and connected in those phone calls. That's a really good example of something that no matter how big your business gets, you should always maintain that part of your process because it's something that brings you joy. So just an example to sort of play back to you guys. Then what we can do is we can start to actually look for what doesn't work for me. Where do I need to task triage and potentially delegate, delete, defer, get rid of, get that off my plate, because those are the detractors. They're the things that can actually be taking our energy away. So we can do a little bit of energy and time kind of planning. But really what I wanted you guys to think about, and this is going to be a bit of a choose your own adventure, is when you look at your work, if you were to actually map out this week, double click on it again, understand where you're spending your time, where is the most meaning being created this week in the work that you're doing? Now I'm going to have to go in a second to collect Stella from school, which is meaningful work for me. I absolutely love collecting the kids from school. And one thing that I stopped doing was taking calls in the car, because I was making myself available to take calls in the car, and then I was missing the opportunity to be present when I picked the kids up from school. And that then just felt like a really silly kind of mismatch in terms of skills and experience there. Steve, you've just shared a couple of really cool tools there, this whimsical mind mapping tool. And of course, GPT is your bestie when it comes to mind mapping as well. One of the greatest things that you can do is have a total verbal dump and ask GPT to help you put that into a mind map. Ask GPT to help you segment it, chunk it into like tasks, batch process it, and that's going to give you an opportunity to see things differently. And more than anything, what I want you to do is to see things differently. I want you to look at your work differently. I want you to look for those opportunities to find more meaning in the work that you have on your plate. You guys got any?
So, Steve, this could be a really good tool for me and you to jump on a call for 45 minutes to an hour to map out the next 6 weeks leading up to these events and experiences so we can actually see a thread through to make sure we've got those 75 in each room, etc., and all the nodes that we need to pull together. So happy to sit on that with you to do a mind map.
Sounds
So
good. Yeah. Because I think, Sarah, as you're talking about this mind map, there's all these things that you sort of like, you got some ideas or the stuff you got to do, but you have to sort of work out what are the consequences of doing that. So you think, oh, there's this problem, this keeps reoccurring, and but you haven't worked out that if I can do something about it, what 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 would it mean? What are the steps? Therefore, you just like get park it to the side.
Yep.
It keeps coming back. The problems needs to be solved, but
Yep.
maybe not right now. Park the side.
And sometimes it can just be that it's light noise and that it's like a pebble in your shoe that you can get by with. And so you just don't deal with it until it's like right under your foot and you're like, oh, now I need to do something with it. I've been ignoring that I've got a pebble in my shoe for ages. We used to do that with customer complaints. You know, you'd have this massive backlog of customer complaints. The ones with the most complaints would obviously get solved first, but sometimes those low irritation things that don't seem to make a lot of noise, they're actually the thing that's taking away energy because it's also causing a low irritation for you too. It could be like in your microgut biome when you've got like a slight allergy to a food and you just keep eating it and you're like, oh, I'm not allergic to it. It's not that bad. But actually, it is bad. And removing it creates so much more space and energy. And so I do really encourage people to go back into like their to-do list if they've got things that have been hanging around for a really long time, either delete it, delegate it, or defer it, but at least do something with it. Like give it some attention to say, I'm not just ignoring you, like I'm actually going to categorize you. And Ellen, you can actually put those little tags on your to-do list. So the delete, defer, or delegate. And I really love when you've got that because you can start to see if I've got 15 things that need to be delegated, that's a really good indication that I need to hire someone in my business. Like that's a really good little like indicator that actually we've got a capacity issue here. So you can use that as an opportunity to see that. Anything else before I've got to run?
I just put another link in there. So a really good person to follow on LinkedIn. So Matt, I'm actually trying to get him to talk to our inner circle in the next month or so, but he literally went from completely distracted, not knowing what the hell to do in 12 months to owning LinkedIn, right? 80,000 followers and his LinkedIn strategy and getting to a 3 mil. But just the way he uses AI as a second brain, mind mapping, and just his content and copy, just check it out. So I'll leave
Yeah,
it
and
up to you
I
guys.
think that idea of the second brain is really key, right? Because we all know that if we could clone ourselves, we'd be more productive. But I do like the idea of like, yes, and don't just clone yourself, clone a better version of yourself. Take the time to refine, to challenge, to really look at what's working, what's not working, and to get really crystal clear on like what are the problems that I'm trying to solve and what does meaningful work mean in this context, because that then is the level up. It's like taking it away from just being more productive and getting more done to actually making more meaning and more impact, which is obviously going to create more satisfaction. And serotonin is so good for the middle-aged brain. So
And Alan, just that Think and Grow Inc. I don't know if you've come across them in Australia.
No.
But they reached out about our event in Fiji. They help, I don't know, Series A, B, C companies expand, like they've helped Airwallex and all these incredible companies, and they like an external consulting space. They need help around personal development and future of work and all that sort of stuff. So they actually were like, we bring in facilitators to all these big companies that we've helped scale from a tech point of view, but have no idea from a like people culture, all of that sort of stuff. And so they're really interested in partnering with our event because they're like, we want to bring people. But then vice versa, I'm like, hey, we've got some amazing people in our ecosystem. And same thing, Steve. I'm like, if we're trying to find founders, they've got 300 in the network. So they're very keen to get you to come and have a chat. They run hosted dinners every month. So that was the call before this one. So double click on that one, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. What's the good follow-up for that, Steve?
I'm going to do a separate intro to you, Alan and Steve, and then Jen, hurry up and move across to Australia.
That's awesome. Thank you.
No worries. But it's amazing that the founders got two girls. They come to all the events and experiences, and they talk about this future of work massively. And that's what all the founders out there are asking for, not just about like how do we grow our business because we've sold it and we're burnt out. So he's like, what you guys are doing is totally resonating. So I will do a separate email to love your work. Just give me the right email address so I don't send it to
Yeah,
your
yeah. It's
business
Ellen
address.
at Ellen Hooper. Yeah.
Okay, cool, sweet. And I'll do a Steve one as well. But have an
Rapid
epic.
fire around the room. Did you learn something new? Did you get a takeout? What's one thing you're going to do differently after this call? Ellen,
Um, yes, I learned something new. Um, what's my big take? I just closed the board down.
that's okay.
What am I going to do differently? I think I don't, it's not crystallized, but there's something about, I just was like, oh, I have all these scattered tasks. I don't have like a plan.
So even
Notion.
dumping them first into GPT and then putting them into Notion, because then you're not putting dirt into Notion. You're like refining it before you put it into a to-do list. It's one of the reasons why I often write everything down on post-it notes before I put it in, because
Yeah.
it allows me to like go, that's not even a real to-do, or that's something I can action right now. So it doesn't even need to
Yeah.
make a Notion board. So it's like just helpful to kind of purge. That's really useful. Steve Huey, did you learn something new? What's something different you're going to do?
Yeah, I think I just gotta like, if I was just gonna do say focus on two things to do each day, that would just get things done, but also get rid of the noise that
Nice.
there's all these things that need to be done and nothing gets done.
Yeah, nice. Love that. Jen?
Sorry, I'm trying to find that unmute. I think I'm just going to keep on going because I'm just following the flow. I'm just listening to my body and trying to do a little bit of, home stuff, bit of stuff for myself, and just, yeah, trying to do less arduous tasks and looking at what I can delegate, what I can delete,
Yes.
reprioritize through deferment.
Yeah, nice. Perfect. Oh
Yeah,
my God, I love it. All right, gotta go. Get Stells.
awesome.
Love you guys.
Ciao.
Bye.
Thanks.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.